Hello and welcome everyone, my name's Drewlik and we're doing PvP. For today, let's talk about tanks. I haven't done much content on tanks, and with not much I mean this is the first video on it, but just to broaden the horizon of this channel. I also believe in you tanks, you good tanks out there, thumbs up to you, thank you that you exist, you are filling a very important role. And I'm going to do it in such a manner that in the first half of the video I'm going to commentate on what I'm doing and which abilities I'm using, and in the second half I'm going to talk a bit about tanking concepts and how they translate to other tanking classes. Also, I'm not as good on this guy. I haven't got that much experience with tanking, so if you are a long-year super experienced tank and you know exactly how to play the shield tech, then forgive me for making all of these mistakes. I'm just trying to, get some broad concepts here. I know I'm not doing everything perfectly. For example, my guard switch is very rudimentary. It's very basic. Also in this game, there was just one target that took the most damage, so I didn't really switch it. So again, not talking about concepts too much because guard switching is a concept, not so much something which is inherent to the shield tech. So starting off. So, as you can see right here, the very first thing I did was jumping right into the fray, using all of my mitigation abilities like oil slick, so reducing the accuracy, dealing some damage to the guy over here. The thing about tanks is you have to keep so incredibly much overview over everything. I think it's the most difficult role of them all, because you need to have perfect vision about everything what's happening. You need to know your classes. Nearly died right there, so I used my nice code to overload. Of course, getting in here, taunting the guy, switching to the healer right there, who tries to do some off damage right there, whatever he's doing. Jumping right to the mercenary because he's dealing damage right now. So disabled him right there, interrupted his stuff right there. And he gets over here, of course, now switching over to the sorcerer. Do hard stun him, don't do hard stun him, he goes into the bubble. So now I'm into the group once more, so I should master taunt in a second if I am a good player, which I'm of course not. First I stunned them, but I'm going to master taunt them in a minute because I know that it's ready. And over here to the power tech once more, and do deal some damage to him, as once more I'm kind of trying to ensure my survival right here. Which is kind of difficult if everybody is onto me. So oil slick comes in once more, reducing the accuracy of everyone. Now that everyone is grouped up, nice death from above comes in, and do use my mitigation ability right there again, which is the shielding shot. Mass taunt comes in, did use that now. So once more everybody does deal less damage to everyone. Once more interrupted the mercenary. He has a very bad day today, so he always gets interrupted by me. Now I'm looking into maybe mass stunning everybody because we're taking quite a amount of damage, so I'm just heading into there. And should mass stun them once I get that. Yeah, that's where the mass stun comes in. So we've got 3 people into that one, and he of course is healing. He also has got the guard, but I know that he has got no guard anymore, so I just hard stun him and deal some damage just so that nothing happens. So just switching over to the tank. Maybe I can kill him, and I do kill him with the help of a damage dealer. And you can see me, I'm talking incredibly fast because there's just so much going on. It's so much you have to do and have to balance as a tank. Now, here once more, getting into the fray and dealing all of my stuff. Did get, before I get kicked out, the oil slick off. So once more the accuracy is reduced of everybody, and once more using firestorm into the enemies to not only slow them but also do a lot of damage. So we won mid quite decisively here. Did do a very good job at tanking off damage. Didn't die once in the entire half of what was going on here. Sniper being here, of course, do kill him with a nice firestorm. Now, of course, we're seeing ourselves outmatched in mid, and I am just peacing out because my healer is still left in the middle. He didn't come out with us. He didn't chase the kills, and as you can see right here, we didn't get the very first pylon, or at least to say they got that one because there was insufficient death. But that's not the point of this video. The game has, of course, its problems here with a lack of good play in other areas, but that's not what we're focusing on. We're entirely focusing on the tanking and what is going on. So master taunt came in, so the guy over there that's trying to deal damage is taunted, and of course the other guy behind that as well. As once more I'm interrupting the mercenary so he doesn't deal as much damage. Once more jumping onto the assassin just to be in range of my healer. So very important if you have your guard target to look at if you're in range or not. So once more, being here, mitigating the damage. It's very important also that, you know, stunning all of these people here. Once more, getting into the fray, and did use my big quota overload cooldown because I'm getting focused. Every time I am getting focused, I need to use something big just to waste the time a bit more. I do believe that I'll jump into there once more. Yes, of course, I'm absolutely ludicrous and crazy. Of course, why shouldn't I jump in there? Once more, you know, not taunting the sniper because he has got me as his main target. So never taunt somebody who is your main target. So now he's not anymore, so I can taunt him, which I did not do, unfortunately. Do I do it? I don't know. I'm not commentating it live. So now I taunted him. So a bit late there. Maybe I waited for, you know, some more stuff to come in, just to mitigate some more damage. So very important to keep that on cooldown. As I said, I'm not doing everything perfectly here, not using the abilities to the fullest extent. So right now we are in a 2v3. So it's very important that he and I do survive. So just put the oil slick right down so that he can't, the sorcerer can't do as much damage. And of course, you know, lost kiting a bit around here and there. As the healing mercenary, which I protected, got kicked out and did die into... he got kicked out into the AoE and did die from the pylon detonation, so that kind of was the thing. So finding another guy in the corner right here who just tries to stun me, but yeah, he doesn't know how to properly mitigate that damage and he does die. So you can see here a bit more skirmishing with me and him, and now I try to talk a bit more about the concepts, because that was a lot of stuff going on. Now, in terms of concepts, I think many people don't understand what a tank actually does. They do very well understand what a damage dealer does, and they do well understand what a healer does, because it's quite simple. You know, as a damage dealer, you deal damage. You know, try to kill as many people as possible. And as a healer, you of course try to heal your team, survive, maybe deal damage once in a while if there's nothing to heal, and of course ensure your own survival and the survival of your team. Now, the tank does something in between. He does both of these things equally valid, and he has to do so with incredible amounts of game knowledge. And it's very difficult, and I would generally split it up into three concepts. The very first concept being the concept of ensuring your team's survival. Second concept is setting up kills onto the enemy team. And the third concept is mitigating as much damage away from your team. Now, this kind of goes, you know, with the survival thing, but the survival is more based around certain abilities used at a certain time, and the mitigation thing just, you know, revolves around your general goal in the entire game. What I mean is that in the first point, which is ensuring your team's survival, is using your CC abilities, using your disabling abilities to your fullest extent when your team is low. So like a healer, you have to look at the bars. When is my team low? When does my team need help? When is the good, you know, time to CC the enemy team? So if your team is low, you know, 3 or 4 people are low, you have to get in there, you have to stun them, and if you do so, if you stop them from dealing damage, then you free your team up. And this is a very important thing as a tank. So inherently tanks do have a lot of CC and kind of disrupt abilities. As you can see right here, I just pulled that mercenary into my AoE stun, which I used shortly after, so more people got stunned. Every tank has got that. The Juggernaut has got a push and a knockout, so you can maybe knock somebody away from a healer, or knock a healer out of a team. You have got the pull, which you can use to pull high damage targets into the fray, or maybe pull a healer into a fray, or maybe pull someone away from somebody, and the assassin has got that as well. So you can use these kinds of abilities, and of course the AoE stun, the AoE blind, a overload. So maybe if several targets are casting onto your healer, you just overload, and then all of the casts are immediately interrupted, and they are disabled for the flight time they have. So this is kind of the disruption things you have on your tank classes, and you have to use them when your team is low, so when it's very important. Second thing is setting up kills. So you can be a good tank, you can be a decent tank, but to be an excellent tank, you also have to set up the kills. So if a healer is low, or healer is healing, you interrupt him. The second time he tries to cast, you let the cast nearly go through, and then you stun him at the very last instance. If a healer is maybe at 30%, you stun him in the last second, and deal as much damage as possible. You have very much off global cooldowns with a power tech, so you can just use them. Or maybe if you are an assassin, you use recklessness, and you just use that burst that you have, or ravage, you use that burst that you have in that short amount of time to maybe score a kill. And you do that, by doing that, you of course, disable a healer, you disable a high priority target like a sniper or a mercenary of the enemy team. You by doing that, you also ensure that these people are not going to be in the game and dealing damage for the next 30 seconds until they respawn. So this is a very active form of mitigation, which is namely killing people, but also very important to do. Lastly, and I think most importantly, which is kind of the staple of a tank, is mitigation. Trying to avoid as much damage on your entire team as humanly possible. I see so many tanks out there who don't have their absorb, their mitigation, their damage prevented to other players. To achieve that, you have got the taunts. Now, the taunts, they work the same on every tank and even on the other characters. It works in such a way that if they are not attacking you for 6 seconds, it holds 6 seconds. If they're not attacking you, they deal 30% less damage. So you don't want to taunt your main target, which is attacking you. If somebody is attacking you, don't taunt him. What are you doing? You're not mitigating any damage. You have to switch your target, taunt somebody else, and go back to your main target, which is very difficult with the targeting thing, and I'm doing a targeting tutorial on that as well. A mass taunt. Only use mass taunt if you are not the one who is in the fray and is being the main guy who's being attacked. That is very important. Then, of course, using your defensive stuff once you are getting attacked, as you could see in the video several times. So using my energy shield whenever I'm getting attacked. And lastly, you have got guard and guard switching. Many people don't even use guard. That is the worst case. The average tanks and average players, to which I would count myself, do use guard on a singular target. I do try to switch it mid-fight and stuff like that, but, and this is the thing, because I'm not used to tanking as much, I don't constantly think about guard. So you have to condition yourself to constantly think about guard. Who needs the guard? Who wants to have the guard? In this game especially, it wasn't as feasible to switch the guard very often because we only had one healer, and he needed the guard very often. So maybe I could have, switched it around, 6 or 7 times more in the entire game, but there wasn't really that much opportunity to switch the guard. So that wasn't too bad of me. But again, you should do it more, and you should really emphasize guard switching, because your guard does nothing if it is on a player that is not taking damage. Every second your guard is on a player who is not actively taking damage, you are wasting a part of your ability. You're wasting potential absorb, you're wasting a potential mitigation. You really need to think about guard and who needs it. Of course, if you've got like some asshole player who doesn't know how to play, don't give him guard, he's gonna die anyway. But if you have got like a juggernaut jumping into the enemy team, why not give him guard? If the enemy players are so thoroughly distracted by the juggernaut who jumped in, then of course by all means guard him, and you will see nice things happening. And then again, if your healer is getting attacked, just switch it back to him. So switching of the guard is very important, and I know I'm not doing a perfect job of that. Very important to always taunt, always do that stuff. Now, these were a lot of things, and I think they are just the very broad tanking concepts, which only glance at the very surface here, which have to do. It's incredibly intricate. It's near impossible, to do correctly on your first kind of tries. You just learn. Every time you tank, you learn a little bit more about tanking and about what to do and about how to do it correctly, because I would deem it, one of the most unforgiving roles. So as you can see right now in the end screen right now, I did deal 500k damage and had 370k protection. Now the reason we still lost the game was because we just had no fucking damage whatsoever. We just didn't have any damage. You can see right here I had around 540k damage, which isn't that much for the game we had. You could see that was a lot of mid AoEing going on, and the next highest player only has got around 1100 DPS, which is terrible. I don't know, I can't even, put it into words how terrible my damage dealers in this game were. So, I don't know, I would probably pull around 1.5 million damage in this kind of game with one of my damage dealing classes, but that's beside the point. I just wanted to show you a good example of tanking, and that is what it was, because you could see the good synergy between my healer and myself and the disruption of the enemy team. It was all, taken out of the context of a very low damage environment, so not, we didn't do much damage, they didn't do much damage, and so the numbers are a little bit skewed, and I'm not claiming to be the best tank on the planet, but you could see the general concepts I'm trying to highlight here. So, as again, if you are a pro tank, please feel free to dislike me right now because I didn't do that one thing correctly. Anyways, I hope you found this information useful, or you think tanking is kind of interesting. Give it a try and let me know. My name is Drewlik, you've been watching Drewlik PvP, and as always, have a good one. Tanking is hard.